Morning, Blue Home.
Oh, hello. Is Lauren available at all?
Is she just on another call at the moment? Is that you, Roz?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Roz, it's Helen. You okay?
Hello, Helen. Yes, well, actually, I can speak to you. I went with Mike Devine yesterday to have a look at Symphony buildings, and I'm afraid I might have to reconsider because he was damning, to say the least. There were all sorts of issues. I'm going to wait for his full report, but he basically said it's not a good investment proposition.
Really?
Yeah, he thought it was too expensive. He didn't like the building. He was very concerned about the wooden balconies, wondered about, fire risk there. Well, the balcony and from the atrium, because all the flats lead off these balconies round the atrium. The atrium roof is leaking, and it has been since the first time I went there, but, you sort of disregard it, and so obviously there's going to be a huge expense to repair it, and already the service charge, I think it's something like £185 a month. So I'm going to wait. Yeah, and it's not, I'm in my flat at the moment, which I absolutely adore, Helen. Yeah. I just so love it. And I feel if I do back out, I'll be letting you down.
No, you don't feel like that. No.
But, well, Lauren knows right from the start, I was not that enamoured with the place, but I thought, well, okay, yes, it's all right, and it's somewhere to place my money. But he was so, in fact, no, it's terrible. He said they hate me in any case, so I can say what I like.
Who said that we hate him?
Yes. Mike said, he said, they don't know. I don't think he used the word hate. He said, they dislike me in any case because I say what I think.
No, we wouldn't recommend them.
No, that's what I said to him. Oh. Because he's that sort of character, isn't he? He makes these sort of very dry sense of humour. And I said, well, why do they recommend you? Oh, well, because I don't know what comment he made. Anyway, we'll disregard what I'm trying to say. But he wasn't, when he came to see this flat, immediately he would say, yes, fantastic, buy it, I love it, I can see why you like it. And there were one or two issues, but, I was hell-bent on buying Gambia Terrace. But with Symphony buildings, I was sort of undecided right from the start. I mean, he said the only good thing about it is that you will probably always have tenants.
Yeah, they let brilliantly there, because we've let over the years. But people stay for ages.
Yeah, well, the other thing, I mean, it is a very small flat, isn't it, Helen? And I'm concerned that really there's no storage space whatsoever. There's not a single cupboard anywhere.
Next to the bathroom.
Yeah, but that's got the immersion in, hasn't it? It's almost full of, and there's very little space apart from that strange room without windows. So I would probably have to go to the expense of having cupboards or something fitted, because if I walked in there, I would immediately, as a tenant, think, there's nowhere to put anything. The bedroom's very, very small. But I knew all this, and in actual fact, yesterday it looked better than it was the third time I'd actually seen the property, and because it was a brighter day, it actually looked better. And they have fixed the cracked panes, because there were 3 cracked panes, which I had mentioned, but they seem to have been fixed.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm going to wait for Mike's report. Please don't mention that I said that but that's the sort of person he is, isn't he? He's the sort of he says things and you don't quite know whether he's joking or not, but he definitely wasn't joking about the flat and the sort of, well, the whole sort of project really. He didn't think it was a good money. I'm not going. If I do go ahead, I'm not going into it to make money. It's simply a place. It's somewhere to put my money for sort of 5 or 6 years, and then sell it. It's not a long-term project like with Gambia Terrace. You know, I have no intention of selling it. So that's the situation at the moment. I'm going to wait till he sends his full report in to me, and
we'll see how much are in the funds, because obviously there's a big fund. All roofs and stuff like that would be covered by that, wouldn't it?
There would be, yes, yes. And presumably, I mean, but you see, Gambia Terrace, they've just put up, well, number 22, the service charge has just gone up £20 a month. You know, it's, I mean, it's not much, but you do wonder where it's all going to end. With service charges, I know that you really can't buy many flats without high service charges, but at the moment I'm sort of very undecided. In fact, I was quite dismayed by his reaction. And then to top the lot, we were walking past on the back, and there's next door, there must be a huge dog with the biggest. A dog, I know. It was like really, like it sounded like, you know, some large dog barking behind the door.
I wonder if it's visiting, because you're not allowed dogs in there.
Well, I know, that's what I would have thought. It wasn't there when we walked past to begin with, and then he went all around the building, he went around the back, to the outside, you know, very thorough. It was sort of an hour and a half. But he's more or less advised me not to go ahead, basically. So I was quite shocked, actually. Yeah.
You know, it's a good building, you know, it's a very popular building.
Yeah, I know. And then he was looking, you know, at the balconies, they are wood.
Internal, you say?
Yes, I know, but he knew that, obviously, but he did say that they're so hot now on legislation, you would have to see the fire sort of report and see.
It's got an EWS1, so it's got the EWS1. So maybe he's not aware of that, but it's got that, so that's all fine. I'm just wondering how much he actually knows.
Well,
yeah, because there is an EWS1 on there already, so.
Yeah, I think he was just concerned that with, you know, the legislation and the regulations might, because they are constantly changing, aren't they? They become more sort of rigid and thorough and stricter as time goes on, which is a good thing, but it makes things more expensive and perhaps more difficult for you know, owners and tenants, maybe. I don't know. But he thought it was overpriced because he was doing it something. He said, you know, you're lucky, Ross, you've got the money, cash. He said, but any investor would not be looking at this because it wouldn't bring a good enough return. And you've got to think of that. If you're thinking of selling in 5 or 6 years' time, you've got to take that into consideration. It would be people that, like myself, who would be interested in buying. So that's really where we're at.
Okay, no problem. So when does he anticipate getting the report to you, Ross?
Well, he said, you know, as soon as possible. But then, you know, I do feel that I sort of led you up the garden path, really, and not by. But I didn't want to have a survey done because I've only just recently heard from my solicitor and got the first sort of a survey pack. One of which said that advised me to have a survey done outside to check for contamination, because where the flats were at the back, there were garages there, and there might be underground contamination. Which I thought, well, that is just stretching things too far in my book.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the building than what's going on outside, because it's in a city centre. You know, and the silly things like pointed out that it was within so many meters of a mast, mobile mast, and there were underground tunnels within a certain.
Yeah, Roscoe tunnels, yeah.
Yeah, well, they are, aren't they? But
most of the cities on it.
I know. Well, I actually went because you can go and have a look, and at one point you could actually see straight up. Yeah. And I thought, and they've actually built relatively new houses by the I know, by the opening, and I thought, well. Anyway, that did not worry me at all, Helen. It was the fact that, he was so damning about the building, the structure, and everything, really. I don't think he had a good word to say about it, which is very
strange.
I said, well, very strange, because you love he said, oh, that's a totally different kettle of fish, It's, that's, obviously has its faults, but it was a good investment, so I'm going to wait.
Yeah. Well, wait and see what the report says.
Yeah. And then, I don't want to be, blacklisted by you as an awkward. I know, awkward. I mean, because there might come a point when I want to rent this place out. So, I honestly, Helen, I just sing your praises to everybody. I say, if you're in Liverpool area and you want a letting and a selling agent, go to Liverpool.
That's very kind.
Because honestly, you are so, compared to others, you are, just golden stars twinkling in the sky.
That's very kind.
But please, listen, don't mention to Mike about me saying that, they don't like me. That's his sort of flippant style of talking, I think. Because as you said, I did actually, my retort was, well, if they don't like you, why do they, use you? Why do they recommend you? Oh, I don't know. But I think it was just something you said off the cuff, so if we can delete that from our conversation.
Okay. No problem.
Please, I mean, my name will be mud if he gets wind of what he said. But I'll get back to you, Helen, as soon as I hear something. And once again, apologies for all this going on, and to the vendors. But I suppose it happens all the time. People get so far and then, they pull out for one reason or another. I'm talking of property. There are three properties for sale here in number 22, which they're asking silly money for. I don't know whether they're sold or not, but that's, that's another story. Anyway, thank you for being so understanding,
and appreciate the call.
And I'll let you know. I'll be in touch as soon as I hear from Mike, and then decide how I'm going to proceed. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Helen. Thank you. Bye bye.